Hi everyone, welcome to the session at Swansea University School of Management. Great to have you here. This is the MSc International Accounting and Finance, a closer look. We will also be covering Finance and Big Data Analytics program and the International Financial Management program as well. Thanks for joining us via Zoom or via Facebook live stream as well. Great to have everybody here. Just let you know that this session will be approximately 45 minutes in duration, maybe a little bit less, a little bit more. And it's very much about your questions. So we'll go into the program, we'll tell you a bit about Swansea, the course, what we do, where we are. We're joined by some excellent panel guests as well, who we'll introduce in a second, but please do keep your questions coming in through the session. Okay, so we are here in Swansea, Southwest Wales, about 3 hours from London, about an hour from Cardiff. This is the Bay campus of Swansea University on the east side of the city of Swansea. I'm not there today. We do have a student that's currently there today, though. We'll introduce them in a second. We're doing a lot of this stuff virtually at the moment for obvious reasons. With in-person teaching limited, also for obvious reasons as well. But we're hoping to all be back on campus to enjoy the fantastic facilities and the atmosphere there as soon as we can. Okay, so let's do a few introductions. Okay, my name is Gethin Jones. I'm the student recruitment and admissions manager for the School of Management. So we deal with all of the events, open days, interactive sessions with schools. We deal with the admissions process, applications, scholarships, and anything to do with helping you with your decision making and sort of getting you to know about the course and Swansea and what we have to offer as well. I'm also joined by Tracy, who's the current program director for the courses that we talked about. Tracy, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, everybody. I'm Tracy Williams. I'm a qualified accountant and I run the 3 programs that we're talking about. I'm the program director, but I'm an accountancy lecturer as well. Okay.
Thanks, Tracy. Great to have you on board. Thank you very much. We're also joined by a couple of current students. So it's great to have our expertise and advice from the teaching staff and the professional services teams, but the students that are actually studying have got the most important and useful insights in many respects. So we're joined by Amani. Would you like to tell us a bit about yourself, Amani, and what program you're studying on as well?
Okay, hi, my name is Amani and I'm studying MSc in Accounting and Finance, and it's a conversion course.
Brilliant. Thanks, Amani. Great for you to be here as well. And we're also joined by Chukwuebuka. Tell us a bit about yourself and what course you're studying.
Hello, MSc in Finance and Big Data Analytics. And I have my first degree in Accounting and Finance.
Brilliant. Thanks, Chukwuebuka. We lost you for a second there, but I think we got the message. You're doing the MSc Finance and Big Data Analytics course. Yeah, brilliant. Great to have you on board as well. You'll see here from the slides, you know, we are a university and a school that has many accolades and achievements. I'm very lucky to have fantastic locations, which we'll tell you about in a second. But we do have great industry links, employability support, you know, for you to, you know, one of the reasons that you'd be considering a master's is to improve your employment prospects, to really sort of have a stepping stone to those better, higher paid careers, something that you've been wanting to do for a long time. So that's what we do. So we're here to support you. Yes, it's about the master's degree and the academic side, but we want to develop your skills for success at the same time. So just a little bit of an insight there. Let's tell you about Swansea and the location. So we are based on the Bay campus. That's the School of Management. So economics, marketing, accounting and finance, tourism, business, all of those programs taught on Bay Campus. And we share that with engineering, with the Computational Foundry for Computer Science and Maths, and also our International Pathways College as well. So everything in one place, the accommodation, the student services, the sports facilities, retail, and it's right next to the beach. So we're very lucky in that respect. And we also have Singleton Park campus, which has been around for a long time. We're celebrating our centenary year, 100 years old in 2020, and that's on the other side of the city. So you've got the city centre in the middle, and then the campus locations either side of the city. Again, beautiful location next to the beach with some great facilities. This is the actual School of Management building. Chukwuebuka, are you there right now?
Yes, I am.
And where are you? Have you been in lessons today, or tell us a bit about what you're up to at the moment?
Okay, at the moment, I'm here trying to complete my coursework for the semester for one of my modules, quantitative research method rather. So I'm just here trying to complete it.
So you still have access to the facilities and the teaching staff, even in the current situation, on certain days of the week then?
Yes, there are computer rooms all around the building, so I'm just using one of them. I have access to the computer and I can just log in and do my work.
Brilliant. Great. I just thought I'd put you on the spot there because we were introducing the building, and it sort of gives a bit of context then as to what our students in the current situation. Brilliant. So that's sort of a very quick overview of where we are, the location, the facilities. If you've got any questions on that, then please do post them in. And not just now, throughout the session. So we'll talk about a lot of different points, and we'll bring in the different panelists to the discussion. But if you do have any specific questions, then please do send them in. Okay, we might ask them as we go, or we might save a few until the sort of third part of the session. So please do send them in. Amani, you're obviously not in Swansea in the School of Management at the moment. Tell us a bit about where you are and how you're sort of approaching learning and teaching at the moment.
Okay, so I live in Manchester, which is almost like, I think 4 hours drive from Swansea. So yeah, I'm living at home. So I do the online studies. So it's just like on Zoom, and the lectures get recorded. And I mean, doing study away is a little bit different from normal, but it's not that hard. The only thing I miss are the facilities at the campus, but besides that, the teaching level is good.
Brilliant. So two very different perspectives there, which I think is quite useful for this session. So you've got Chukwuebuka, who's actually in the School of Management at the moment, you know, enjoying the facilities and that contact. And then you've got Amani, who was it Manchester, you said, Amani?
Yes.
Yeah, brilliant. So you're up in the Northwest, obviously having a lot of online content as an alternative via Zoom, etc. So if anybody's got any questions about those different sort of ends of that spectrum, if you like, that'd be a great opportunity to ask those questions then. Thanks, Amani. Okay, what we're going to do now, I'm going to move on and tell you about the courses that we're actually going to be talking about. So let's start off with an overview of these three programs. So we've got what we call, and Tracy, I'll bring you in a second to tell us a bit more about these, but these are what we call conversion courses. And what we mean by that is that you don't necessarily have to have studied accounting or finance related undergraduate degree. Now, Chukwuebuka said that he did do an accounting undergrad, and that's absolutely fine, but we would look at your profile and experience on an individual basis and see which programs that you are matched to, because we do have other programs that are considered to be either more specialist in different areas as well. So these three programs are open to any graduates from any background: international accounting and finance, finance and big data analytics, and also international financial management. I've put on this screen as well which I think is quite important, which we'll go into in a bit more detail, is the professional accreditation and the professional qualification exemptions that you can pick up, because these courses are designed and aligned with particularly certain accrediting bodies and industry practices. Tracy, do you want to tell us a bit more about that and the design of these programs and what they're about a bit more?
I can, that's fine. As you can see, we've got the 3 streams, as we call them: international accounting finance, finance and big data, and international financial management. They are accredited by the ICAEW, as you can see that's up there. For the people who don't know what that is the Institute of Chartered Accountants in England and Wales, and it's one of the accountancy bodies. Okay, so the international accounting and finance, I split these into 3 streams in my head. That's geared more for the accountant. I'm actually an ICAEW fully qualified accountant, so I went along that route. And it's so if you want to get the maximum exemptions from the ICAEW or the ACCA, which I presume is the next slide, but don't worry about that, Gethin, we can talk about that when we get to it. Then the one that I call is more the finance side is the MSc Finance and Big Data Analytics, where we look at more the financial markets, principles of international finance, more programming, more data analysis, and it's more if you want to go down the finance route, which is why it's got less exemptions. Then the one I call, which is somewhere in the middle of the two, is the international financial management, management. And again, if you wanted to get as many exemptions as you can to become a qualified accountant, you can get quite a few on this route, but it's not so geared towards you becoming an accountant. You can from it, you can, but again, it's more, if you wanted to be an accountant, I would suggest going down the international accounting and finance line. Is the next slide ACCA? Should I talk about that as well? Gethin? You're on mute.
I did the same in the last session as well. I should know better. We've got a few slides that go into a bit more detail.
Okay.
Thanks, Tracy. It's a really great overview and summary. Accessible courses, a lot of benefits. The accreditation and exemptions are a great benefit for students as well. Can I just go back to students for a second? So Amani, from your perspective, what attracted you to one of these courses then, and what was the reason for choosing it at Swansea as well then?
Okay, so when I made up my mind that I wanted to do accounting and finance, I don't think there are many universities who do offer a conversion course. So amongst them, when I compared all of them, Swansea was one of the top, that comes in top 30 universities for business courses. And then there was the scholarship. I was like, oh yeah, definitely, some fees reduction. And then I had a lot about Swansea, good quality of courses. So I was like, yes, definitely.
Brilliant. And what about you, Chukwuebuka? Similar story, or I know you're from Nigeria and you've studied it before. So what was in your decision making?
Yeah. So the data analytics, the combination. I looked at the models and I found out that there's this buzz out there right now about data, how many softwares you can actually use on the job, and not just the certification you have. So I saw it. I looked at the fact that I get to learn data, I get to learn Python and a couple of other statistics that are actually hands-on. I've worked in the humanitarian sector for about 3 to 4 years before I came here, and I know how much the UN and the rest use data. They want to, data is like everything. They use data to do forecasts and know where to channel money. So that's why I decided to do this course. I'm already a chartered accountant with the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria. So I'm already a professional. So I saw it and I was like, this is a good area to go into. That's why I chose the course.
Brilliant. So there's, 2 different perspectives there. And I think that, the emphasis on the data there, Chukwuebuka, is a really important one. It's very on topic. It's very sought after in terms of a skill set. as well. So regardless of your accounting experience, there's still an opportunity to develop the analytical and data skills then as well. On that note, I'm just going to share this next slide. Give me a second. So this shows us a bit more detail about the course. So we can see that, you know, Chukwuebuka is telling us about some of the reasons and intentions behind studying, and some of the more specialist content within that program will drill down quite deep into those areas then. For Amani, you're doing the accounting and finance program, so that will focus more on the financial and management accounting side, and one of the reasons for that is also the accreditation and the exemptions that you pick up, because you need to satisfy that criteria then. Tracy, do you want to take us through a bit more about the module content?
I can do that, yes. So what we have are some common modules, as you can see, going across the three pathways. So what you would study in term 1, common across the three, are the principles of international finance and also the international financial markets. Then depending on what stream you're on, if you're going down the accounting, finance and the financial management, you would go on and look at more an accounting one, the financial accounting, the statement preparation analysis we've got there. And then we have got this financial modelling, which I can't see on there, but there's the financial modelling as well as one of the ones that you would take on accounting and finance and financial management. And that is common. So for those two, if you did at the end of term 1 decide, oh, I want to go on to the other stream, one advantage is you can always switch between the two. Okay, you can't do that if you're on finance and big data, because term 1 is not common. Like I said, it's more the finance side on that one. So then you'd go into some more big data in finance and empirical finance. Then in term 2, we have, as you can see in MSc Accounting and Finance, you can do one of these, financial accounting or management accounting, and a couple of options. There's quite a few options on the course you could do. In financial management, you have corporate governance and ethics and behavioral finance, and then some options. And then in the finance and big data analytics, as you can see, we've got the big data, the applied data, and another option that you can take. Okay. Did you want me to go into ICCA here or not? I can see the logos at the top.
That's brilliant, Tracy. Yeah, that gives us a really good overview. I was just going to go back to Chukwuebuka and Amani to sort of get your take on things. I know you started relatively recently, so you're probably only touching on this sort of first semester content so far. Amani, what's been your sort of highlight so far? Which of this content have you really enjoyed, or perhaps it wasn't something that you were expecting, but you really connected with it?
Okay, so I have studied accounting before. I studied during my level 3 qualification. Besides that, I had some work experience in a charity organization where I was kind of working as an accounting assistant. So I knew a little bit about accounting, but doing accounting and finance. So finance side was a bit like a new thing for me, but it was good. And especially when I was doing international finance market, I think it is. With the teacher in our first lecture, she told us that we were going to do trading, and I was very excited to do that. So that was kind of like a dream come true. And we had a really like an amazing experience there, and teacher was really like, the lecturer was really helpful. Besides that, we have also been doing financial statements. It's a full module on it. That's really helpful. And we are doing principle of finance, which is very new to me. I'm still trying to catch up on that, like how does it work? And what else are we doing? And obviously this quantitative research method, that's what I have my coursework due on Friday. There's one more. I'm trying to think which one it is. No, I think that's it. That's four modules, but I think I really enjoy the international financial markets and the financial statements.
Brilliant.
Yeah, it's really good.
Thanks, Amami. I think it's great that you're connecting so well, especially being at a distance as well, and maybe not being there on campus. So really glad you're enjoying. Chukwuebuka, what from your perspective, what are you really connecting with or enjoying at the moment?
I would say what I'm enjoying most is the fact that I'm learning how to use software that are actually very relevant for research purposes and statistics purposes. And again, the second one is the learning to learn trading. Like Amani said there, we learned how to to trade stocks and the derivatives in the forex market. That's also something that when you go on YouTube and all these online platforms, you see adverts all over the place. Come and learn how to trade. Come and So we didn't really go deep into it for now, but we have a very good idea of it. Those are the two things I've really enjoyed doing.
Brilliant, thanks, Chukwuebuka. Again, it's great to see people and the students joining us literally just in September, October. It is quite an intense learning curve, and taking quite a lot on, especially from a different background or a different region. So really great to know that you're enjoying. I wanted to touch on very quickly, there is a slide on course structure here, which might be useful for all of students considering this course or other master's courses as well. This is typically what to expect. So we've heard Amani and Chukwuebuka talking about, coursework and seminars and, prepping for assignment hand-ins and exams, etc. So this is basically how it will work. So at the moment, we're in this first semester. It's 180 credits throughout the year. It's a 12-month study and split into 3 parts, if you like. And this is where we're at now. So there'll be certain elements of coursework throughout those 10, 11 weeks of teaching, followed by an exam session. And then you have a bit of a break, and then into semester 2. Not sure what happened there. Into semester 2, again, different content as we saw on the other slide. So more of the specialist content, some of the options come into play. So you move on from that compulsory content and go towards more of the specialisms, but then you also have the exam session at the end of that as well. Tracy, do you want to tell us a bit more about the independent project? Because this is maybe what's the capstone of the program, and this is where you really sort of apply what you've learned then.
Yes, what we have, and it runs over the summer months, as we call it. So it's usually be your summer holidays if you're in an undergraduate course at the moment. But it's not as bad as it sounds. We don't make you come in every day and sit and listen. It's not as bad as that. What will happen is you'll have an introductory talk from me in term 2 and some library sessions. Then we'll allocate you a supervisor, and that supervisor sees you 4 times over the summer months. So like I say, it's not as bad as you sitting in a classroom full time. You'll just see your supervisor for four times over the summer months. And they will provide support for you and help you. It's a daunting task. It's a very daunting task to try and write a dissertation. You're probably not used to it. But we've got a research methods module in term 1, and then you'll get all the support from your supervisor who will help you and guide you as you go through those summer months. And it comes in mid-September, okay? A large project.
Brilliant, thanks Tracy. That is where you consolidate and apply what you've learned. Let me just share this slide again. It's not going to be, well, it will be challenging. It can be quite flexible in terms of focus and what actual niche area that you want to research and explore. But you will, as Tracy says, get the supervision and you will be directed through that process for success. Any examples of recent projects, Tracy, that some students have done particularly well in? Does anything come off the top of your head?
Things that come to mind, which are the very modern topics, are like the big data, like we were talking about before. Bitcoin. We've had one on Bitcoin, which is obviously one of the greatest newest topics that you could have. And then we have some of the more traditional ones, for example, auditing, forensic accounting, fraud, tax is often quite popular if you're an accountant and going along that stream. And what we do is we give you some suggestions for the topics that you can pick, but we are happy for you to pick your own topics, if that makes sense. But we'd like you to keep along the lines that we can help you with the best, with our specialisms as the staff that we've got. So some people pick, like I say, Bitcoins, which it was quite interesting to read. I learned from that one because I don't know much about Bitcoins, but I know a lot more now. And obviously you then research with the help of you.
Brilliant, thanks Tracy. We've got quite a few questions coming in.
And produce a 12,000 word.
Oh, I think there's a bit of a glitch there with the audio lagging. Sorry, Tracy. That's a great insights into the project side. We've got quite a few questions coming in, and I've got quite a bit of sunshine on my face now as well, so which I wasn't expecting. But we're going to go to a question here because we've got quite a few coming in. This is one for you, Chukwuebuka. So this is from an anonymous attendee. As an international student, how have you found Swansea?
Swansea is a beautiful city, I must say. It's quite beautiful. You can literally walk around the whole city. You can walk around the whole city center, just meet people. The people are calm. People are always smiling. They're so accommodating. They're so welcoming. They're nice, and transportation is quite easy. There are bus stops everywhere. If you can't walk for long, you can easily hop into a bus and get to where you want to go to. It's pretty easy to move around. It's a very beautiful place, I must say. And quite quiet. It's conducive for learning and education, I must say, because you don't get the hustle and bustle of like a major city kind of. So it's quite beautiful. You would like it.
And how does that compare to Nigeria then, Chukwuebuka? What did it manage how was your expectations before you arrived?
Of course, I mean, the expectations were quite high. It was good. All the people I spoke to said good things about Swansea. All the people that helped me through, all the Swansea's international representatives in Nigeria, they helped us a lot, in getting here. It was quite easy. So I would say I would recommend it to anybody. I would recommend Swansea to anybody.
Brilliant. It's great to hear actually, because I'm from Swansea. I was born in Swansea, sort of lived in and around Swansea for most of my life. And that's what we hear all the time. Even if it's for your first time, whether as a student or member of staff, then people fall in love with Swansea and they end up either staying at Swansea or having an affinity and coming back in the future as well. So that's great to hear. Amani, from your perspective then, because you studied in Bradford before, was it?
Yes.
So you probably haven't had the sort of experience in person as yet.
No.
But what did you think about Swansea and why did it attract you as a location then?
Okay, when I first started looking at Swansea, I looked at how it's closer to beach. And I was like, wow, like that would be the best place to relax in, because when I was in Bradford, obviously around the end of the semester time, it used to get so stressful. And then I used to stay in my hostel. So it was just like too much of like in a confined place. So I was like around the beach, you can always like, get a lecture done and then go to beach and relax, then go to your room and, relax yourself. And even though I am not at Swansea, I know a lot of the activities happening in Swansea Beach. And then I know people are so friendly there. Seriously, I've spoken with so many people through societies, and they're all very friendly. I've heard so many good stuff about Swansea. Seriously, I'm dying to come there once the lockdown is over. Once this thing is over, actually.
Brilliant, thanks, Amani. You mentioned societies there. That's something that we'll touch on and later on, because yes, it's about the teaching and academic side and getting your results, but it's also about the experience and having fun, meeting people and new friends. Okay, there's another question come in. I'm going to put this one to you, Aman, if that's okay. So how have you found doing the masters compared to the undergrad? Is it really intense?
It is actually, I think first semester is actually intense, and at first I wasn't expecting it to be a bit like this, but then I can understand it is a master's course, so it's meant to be intense, and especially because it's a conversion course. You're doing almost like a 3-year bachelor's course in a 1 year, so there's too much to catch up on. But if you get like if you do a little bit of basic study, like get a book and get your basics done, it's very easy. And plus the lecturers really help you. So I think
brilliant.
Yeah.
Thanks, Amani. And Chukwuebuka, from your perspective, doing your undergrad in a different country and maybe with a different structure, what's your experience of the transition to this master's?
For me, it's been seamless because, for instance, the financial statements preparation and analysis is the same standards. It's the same international financial reporting standards, IFRS. So that is being followed. The structure is the same. It's just that here, I would say the lecturers are very, very friendly, very, very approachable. If you have any question, you can just send the mail, and within is the maximum time I've had to wait for a response is about 24 hours. And despite their very busy schedules and everything. So I mean, it's been very, very nice. I've totally enjoyed it. Totally. Of course, it's not easy because of the pandemic. Studying alone, sometimes you need to learn on your own, and to concentrate sometimes is quite difficult. Unlike when maybe you can interact with your colleagues in class, and have people push you and all. That's the only bad side, I would say, that you have to study on your own almost 100%. But then hopefully, let's hope that by next year, things will get back to normal.
That's a really good point, Chukwuebuka, because it's been a tricky year, very challenging on many levels for everybody, from students to staff to the staff that work on campus and in the hospitality and the cafeterias and the library. We've all had to adjust much more than we ever expected. But yeah, we're doing things well, and with the feedback that we're getting has been really positive, and I'm glad everyone's having a good experience so far. Tracy, I wanted to, on that theme, from your perspective as a member of the teaching staff, how have you found that transition to the online blended environment?
A very steep learning curve, very, especially if you're like me. I'm old, I'm a dinosaur, I'm not very good with technology. But the youngsters, I'm sure, have dealt with it really well. So, yes, it's been a steep learning curve, all joking aside, steep learning curve for us. So we're hoping that by sounds of it, I like the feedback we're getting today, we're doing quite well and supporting you all very well. So.
Brilliant. And yeah, we're working from home when we have to, and we're doing some bits of teaching and sessions in person when we can, when it's safe to do so. But the more that we can transition to that, the better then. So, that's what it's all about. That's where the experience lies then. Okay, so there's quite a few questions coming. Thanks everyone for the questions. Please do keep them coming. Okay, this is a question about work placements. Is there help to find work placements within the course? Amani, do you have any experience of how that works online and getting support from careers and employability?
To be honest, I haven't. Okay, let me remember. I think I had one appointment, but I'm not sure if I had it with Bradford or Swansea. But I did come across a lot of the emails that were being sent, and there were even an opportunity that they were saying that if you have an employer who can't pay for your pay you salary, but they can offer you a job, we can on their behalf pay you the salary. There was I know that there are a lot of offers like this going on, and there are so many events that the careers department are doing. I'm not personally involved, but I do keep on getting the emails, and because I follow them on Instagram, I do know that there's like a lot of things that they do offer to students. Yeah.
Brilliant. And from your experience, Chukwuebuka, being there in person in the school, have you engaged with the employability team? Have you looked for advice or opportunities for work experience?
Yes, I've had some interactions with them. Not so much because, to be honest, I decided to focus in this first term more on my studies than work. I always plan to start working around next year. If yeah, so I've not really searched, but I know I get all the mails they send, and you know, they're really helpful. They do CV reviews. They post out opportunities when they come. So it's yeah, they are to answer the question, there are opportunities.
Brilliant. Thanks, Chukwuebuka. So just to give you a bit of an insight, so it is difficult, isn't it, if you're in the online blended environment, to actually engage and spend the time and balance your workloads and everything. But it is there. If you want the opportunities to go through application writing tips, to develop your CV, LinkedIn profile, look at job opportunities outside your studies, whether it's in the local area or wider nationally. And this team, fantastic team, in addition to the central Swansea Employability Academy, which is also fantastic. We do have our own support just for our students. Chukwuebuka and Amani are very much in the early stages of their journey, and I'm sure there will be opportunities and activities to engage with throughout. What I would say for the work placements, so in answer to your question, there are certain courses that will have a placement embedded into the course. So the MSc in strategic marketing is a good example. So instead of the dissertation or project, there'll be a short-term work placement instead. Okay, so it depends on the course. Sometimes they'll have that embedded, but even if it's not embedded, this fantastic service provides you with loads of opportunities then as well. So make sure to check that out. Okay, thanks for your question though, much appreciated. Let's have a look at a few more. Okay, are the class sizes large? Tracy, do you want to tell us a bit more about class sizes?
We have across the 3 programs, remember, we've got about 70 or 80 this year across the 3 programs. Normally that would be, it's a bit difficult to say about the teaching, what's going to happen next year, but normally there would be one lecture theatre where they would have the whole of the students that are on the course. And then the seminars would be up to 30. You'd have a seminar as well. That's how it normally runs. And of course, we're all crossing our fingers by next September when you join us, if you come to us, that we'll be back to the normal mode of teaching. This year, obviously, it's slightly different with majority of it being online with some face-to-face teaching. Okay, hope that answers the question.
That's great. No, thanks very much, Tracy, and thanks for your question. That was an anonymous attendee. Let's go through some more. Namagwa, hi Namagwa. This is a question on sports. Are there any sporting activities at Swansea? Chukwuebuka, do you have any experience of sports?
Not yet. I've not, but I'm sure that is one of the things that has been affected by the pandemic, because I mean, even professional sports have been stopped. So I mean, I'm sure the person who asked the question understands that it's pretty difficult for contact sports to be on when this whole pandemic is off. So hopefully next year things will. But yeah, of course, I can see the right. Beautiful football court, basketball court, volleyball court, and all these things. So yeah, Swansea has all those facilities already, ready for use.
It's a good point, Chukwuebuka. Obviously with the current pandemic, it provides limitations to all of those things. But Swansea, I suppose, what we do well, careers and employability, that student experience, the location is fantastic, but also we're a very sporting city. We're football and rugby mad. you know, the Swansea City Football Club in the Championship, the Ospreys rugby union team, literally just down the road, links with the Welsh Rugby Union. We've got everything from hockey to fencing to surfing, you know, ultimate frisbee. There's loads and loads of sports and activities you can get involved with throughout the year. Amani, do you have any sporting interests? I know you're in Manchester at the moment, but do you have anything that you're looking forward to?
Yes, I love sports. And actually, even though I do live far from Swansea, but you know how I said that I follow Swansea on Instagram. So at the start of the year, they were putting all of the clubs, like the sports club, were coming online, and they were telling about how they actually have a week of trial. So you can try their sports, and then if you like the club, you can join it. And then they were all introducing the clubs, and it sounded actually really good. And you know how I said, it's killing me that I'm here. I really want to be in Swansea and make use of so many different things that they are offering. There's so much on offer, seriously. And I think by next year, or maybe by Jan, things will be a lot better. So yeah.
Thanks, Amani. It's great. Yeah, it's great to see you engaging, even though you are a little bit more of a distance away. That's a really good point, actually, because you know, in the current situation, we've had to adapt, and a lot of, because you can imagine, loads of students. You know, Swansea is a city of 18,000+ students. Okay, so imagine they join the sports clubs and the societies, and there's loads of meets and activities. That's not really happened this year for obvious reasons. But there's loads of investment of time and money and resources to the alternatives for meetings online. And there have been some activities that they have managed to do, you know, where they are able to do it safely in accordance with the guidelines. You know, it's only a matter of time before we get back to some sense of normal, and then we can sort of enjoy the things the way we used to. Brilliant. Thanks for your question, though, Namagwa. Really appreciate that. Okay, what I'm going to do, we've still got quite a few questions there, but I'm just going to switch back to a slide a second. That's okay. Just to give you an idea, because we talk about job prospects, and ultimately the reasons why we're doing the Masters in the first place is for career opportunities and to progress ourselves. So this gives you an idea of some of the recent graduate destinations for these particular courses. So quite often we'll have graduates going across to, you know, the big firms, you know, Deloitte, some of the banking companies, but also, you know, smaller companies, more consultancy roles. The defense industry there would be systems, the Welsh Audit Office. One thing I would say, it's not going to pigeonhole you into one specific niche area either. You're developing a transferable skill set that is desirable for many employers. Tracy, do you want to add anything there in terms of potential career prospects?
As you can see, some of the main firms that you could go, not main firms, some of the firms you could go to. There was a question, wasn't there, in the chat saying about, do you have to move to London to get a finance job? The answer to that is you don't have to move, but obviously there are a lot more finance jobs around the capitals. London, isn't it, one of the finance capitals of the world, isn't it? So there's a lot more finance jobs around there, but there are some jobs around here or in Cardiff, that's another capital. So we haven't mentioned them yet, but we've got, apart from the ICAEW exemptions, we've got a lot of ACCA exemptions. And if you go on and do the ACCA qualification, that's recognised by a lot of employers, whether you want to go into the more finance side or the accountancy side. So our employability prospects are really good when you leave here because we have a lot of these exemptions and all these other skills, not just ACCA, not just accountants, that we equip you with to leave us. And like by magic, there's a slide there for you. If you go on to the international accounting and finance route, you can get up to 7 exemptions from the total, I think it's 13 that you need to set. And then if you go on to the international financial management, you can get up to 5 exemptions from the ACCA. It's the lower level ones. And then even on the finance and big data analytics, you can get up to 3 exemptions. Well, it is 3 exemptions, it's not up to there. The reasons why the others are up to is because it depends on what options you select in TP2. But this is a very recognised qualification, and the ICAEW, which will help you in whatever job that you choose to go on to and do. Okay.
Thanks, Tracy. Really, really good summary. And ultimately, it's going to save you time and it's going to save you money. And you're basically surrounded by a team of teaching staff and academics and researchers who have first-hand experience of all of this. Okay, so they'll be able to advise you in a really rich and encouraging way. Pick up those professional qualification exemptions. You're already part way to being qualified then. Brilliant. Thanks, Tracy. Okay, a couple more questions before we have to wrap up. Thanks so much for your contributions. Let's have a look. So we have a question here. Are there any specific activities or events to enhance multicultural integration and networking? So any experiences there, Amani, in terms of networking from a student perspective?
Yes, you know, I think the first week, no, actually, there have been some weeks where they brought in some people. So, you know how I talked about societies. There's so many societies who are helping to build up on the networking. Employability, the careers department also helped build the networks. I even joined some of the seminars, and they were doing like, I think people from CIMA, the chartered, oh God, I won't remember the abbreviation, but CIMA, the people from CIMA came in one of the seminars, and then we also looked at some of the thing related to trading. So in short, there is a lot of opportunities to help with the networking, and a lot of the societies do help with it. There's one society in particular, it's called Swansea Women in Business, and they were offering something like Code First. So like, you know, in those societies, there's so many, one, they'll help you with the networking, and second, even with the skills building. It's not just the course, but it's also the societies that help with giving you the extra skills to help with the in future with your employability.
Thanks, Amani. And you make a good reference there to societies, and we touched on it earlier as well. So just from the School of Management, so business society, investment in finance, accounting, entrepreneurs, economics, Swansea Women in Business, which isn't, you know, exclusively for women either. We do have male members for the Swansea Women in Business, but it's a great chance to network. And in answer to your question as well, yes, we do loads and loads of it. You know, there's one thing that we do at Swansea, and especially at School of Management, is that schedule of activities and the calendar of things that you can really get involved in, you know, from the societies, but also from the teams within the school, from the research centres, sports, everything. So do get involved. It's a really great experience, and it could lead you to opportunities that you wouldn't have had before as well. Brilliant. Thanks for that question. Just conscious of time, so we're going to rattle through a couple more if we can. Okay, so one for Tracy, maybe from the accreditation side. So which accounting body would you recommend, or will my future workplace decide if and when I get a job?
They're all much the same now. Institute of Chartered Accountants England and Wales, Association of Chartered Certified Accountants, that's the ACCA, and CIMA, the one that Armani mentioned, is Chartered Institute of Management Accounting. Generally, if you're going to go into practice, which is preparing year-end accounts, you'd probably want to do the ICAEW. And if you're going into the more management accounting side, which can be any job in industry, and they may want you to do CIMA. But ACCA is a very big qualification now, that all of them are recognised around the world. And ACCA is the one we've just got the most exemptions for on the course. So there's nothing between any of them. And yes, your work when you leave here may help you to decide which one that you need to go on, is the answer to that question.
Brilliant. Thank you, Tracy. I'm afraid that's all the time we've got today, I'm afraid, guys. So apologies if we haven't got around to all questions, but don't worry, we will pick up that separately and get back to you on email later today to answer those questions. I just wanted to wrap up on one final slide, if that's okay. Hopefully, this session has been useful and beneficial and enjoyable at the same time. So it doesn't end here. As hopefully it's been good insights with Chukwuebuka and Amani. Thanks so much for your input and insights, and also from Tracy as well from the teaching team. But have a look online. You can connect with students. You can scan these QR codes right now if you want to. Okay, chat with our students through the Unibility system online. Loads of online resources there. So if you want to know more nuts and bolts, specific granular detail about programs and modules and assessments, then there's loads there. And also there'll be virtual events coming up. So wider virtual open days. You can book a one-to-one and have a Zoom appointment with us if you want to ask specific questions, and you can pick up the phone or email us anytime. Follow us on social media as well. There's loads of great stuff there too. Thanks so much, everybody. Thanks, Chukwuebuka. Thanks, Amani. Thanks, Tracy. And thanks, everybody, for joining us on Facebook Live or Zoom as well. And all that's left to say is, hope you have a great day, and we'll catch up with you again soon. So thanks, everybody. We'll see you soon.